Valencia, Spain left such a great impression on our port of call there that, well, we thought about moving. Really. We'll give you our usual port basics and a sample of why the place cast such a spell on us in just a few hours, with things to do and helpful tips, of course. I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Valencia is in eastern Spain facing the Mediterranean. As Spain's third largest city, Valencia provides a cleaner, flatter, and more organized alternative to the steep hills and dense crowds of other major Spanish ports. Kinda reminded me of the streets of Paris, but less crowded. While there's plenty to do here, there's options for out-of-town exploring, such as Albufera National Park, with Spain's largest freshwater lake, the caves of San Jose, with boat rides, and Sagunto, and its massive castle. In town, as I see it, there are two main zones to focus your time, as either will pretty much take the day. Number one, the Old Town, where the city's historical attractions are, but more on that later. And number two, the City of Arts and Sciences. This massive and very sci-fi complex houses an interactive science museum, the largest aquarium in Europe, an IMAX theater, performing arts center, and a botanical promenade. You can buy single or combined tickets ahead of time through their website, which we recommend. I'll leave a link in our description. Of course, there's plenty of food options inside, as well as a cab stand in front of the Science Museum. But given the size, we'd advise this as an all-day thing. For us, we skipped this time around. As first-timers, we wanted to see the Old Town. But first, let's get oriented to the port. You dock within a massive container harbor just southeast of the city center. Not too far, but far enough that you'll need a ride to wherever you go. For example, the City of Arts and Sciences is closer than the Old Town, but still requires a 45-minute walk. Now, if you're lucky and the winds are mild, you'll dock in front of the Terminal de Pasajeros, or the Poniente Quay, which is the most exposed side of the harbor for high winds. A small building with the usual services. We were supposed to dock there, but got this letter from the captain basically saying, no, the winds are too high. We're docking across the way, at the more sheltered Levante Quay, which is actually just across. And if you sailed on a really humongous ship, you could have docked even farther, at the northern extension, another 10-minute drive away. Find yourself at either, you can't walk from the dock. It's a secured container shipping area, so you'll need to take a mandatory shuttle ride to the terminal building to meet a taxi or tour bus. The ride from Levante should take less than 5 minutes, while the northern extension, at least 15. Once at the terminal, you'll find all the pickup action at the next door parking lot. Tour buses towards the back area to the left, while taxis are right at the entrance. Taxis in Valencia are white, highly regulated, and generally very reliable with prices per vehicle. A ride to the City of Arts and Sciences, for example, is typically around 10 to 15 euros, while a trip to Old Town about 15 to 20. Credit cards and cashless payments accepted. And good thing, because the ATM situation here is the only negative. Machines are plentiful, but...
So for whatever reason, Valencia apparently doesn't like you pulling out money because the fee is €7 per transaction. That's huge, and we tried several banks, big banks, not the small banks, €7. So try to, if you need some cash, get it before you come in. Bye.
Cabify and Uber also operate here, although their meeting points will probably be different than taxis. And finally, you could go by local bus. You can tap to pay using a contactless credit card or phone, and costs about €1.50 per person. The only trick, you gotta walk out a bit to get to the stops. Once you leave the terminal building, you'll walk for about 5 to 8 minutes towards the famous White Clock building. The golden bus stop name is Juan José Domene. The two routes of interest are 4 for the Old Town, and 95 for the Science City, but there are separate bus stop locations for each route on opposite sides of the roundabout. Now, walking off the ship to the container dock, we got lucky. Holland America offered a direct paid shuttle into town, bypassing a terminal. Of course, we could have taken the free shuttle to the terminal, then found a cab. But we paid for a membership perk on board, which just happened to offer the bus for free. Always pays to double check. So why not? The ride took about 30 minutes, dropping us off exactly here, Calle Guadalajara, across from the Natuzzi Editions furniture store, as a handy landmark. Also, we stopped north of the city's enormous park ribbon, the Turia Garden, a 9-kilometer park several meters below street level, following the river. While we were just passing through that day, it's a respectable destination in its own right, with not just walking and bike paths, but public restrooms too. Crossing the bridge over the park led us to the Old Town, with this imposing structure. Torres de Serranos marked the edge of the fortified city. It also reminded me a little bit of Main Street Disneyland and the castle. You know, just the Gothic version. Past this, you enter the Barrio del Carmen, the Old Town's most bohemian district. It's loaded with chic stores. The area is focused on local arts and design. And food, of course. But when we got there early, things were just opening up. Now I find this especially beautiful time to visit a new place. Early in the morning. There's always that anticipation of the day and a quiet lull. This place also has so much street art that it made me think Renegade, and I wasn't wrong. This area is a street art hub, the city preferring to maintain the art rather than paint over it. And a lot of it is unofficial, giving it that Renegade vibe, especially when you're walking through these tight, maze-like streets. And be on the lookout for bike and scooter rental shops here, owing to the city's ease with 2 wheels. The streets are wide and smooth with lots of bike lanes. You might see stands like this for Valencia, although it's a pain for visitors to set up an account and requires a €150 deposit. Stick to the rental shops, there's plenty. While on the subject of wheels, wheelchairs should have an easier time here. Sidewalks are well maintained and lots of effort was put into making the city wheelchair friendly. Now I could have spent a lot of time here, but we skipped breakfast to be hungry for the Central Market, which is just a few minutes walk away. It's one of the oldest and largest running markets in Europe, inside a magnificent stained glass and ironwork interior. Now coming in hungry to a huge, and I mean, let's look at the directory, market can bring on choice paralysis from information overload. Not that I'm complaining. Paella is among them, of course. Valencia is the birthplace of paella, that rice dish in a large pan, but we found an excellent lunch spot for our sample. More on that later. You could spend a good hour here, maybe 2. After much wandering around, can you blame us? We made some decisions for breakfast. So what's this?
Empanadas, tuna and tomato, a little bit doughy.
A little bit doughy?
Yeah, you see? I took one bite and you still don't have the filler, but you know, it's in the market. And Kevin got a giant focaccia.
That's a lot of bread.
There's even more.
Ooh, my goodness. It's leaking.
With all the bag, yeah. All this, $4. I mean, €4. Tuna and tomato is good. We just have to go through the dough. So this is horchata, which is originally from Valencia. It does taste different if you're used to the Mexican style. I don't think it has that much cinnamon, or if any. You usually eat it with this bread. You just dunk it in. It's nice, and this one is refreshing. If you want extra sugar, they could only give it to you warm. But if you on a hot day like this is really nice. Notice they also don't put ice. So this is pure horchata.
Yeah.
Don't dunk it in too long.
Yeah.
Got to do it and get out fast.
Bathrooms are downstairs in the basement for a €1 fee, credit cards only. But if you buy something, your receipt gives you free access. Right across from the market is one of the city's most famous sites, Llotja de la Seda. Built between 1482 and 1548, this was the Spanish Wall Street trading floor of its day, the Merchants or Silk Exchange. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it was built for business, flexing power, and settling disputes. This lovely, peaceful central garden is a favorite. Not a big place really, good for an hour, even if you take your time, but essential for the first timer. It's also inexpensive, around €2 or free on Sundays and holidays. Audio guides for an additional $2.25. The main hall is wheelchair accessible, but consulate building upstairs is by steps only. Now we also tried to get into the Cathedral de Valencia, but balked at the lines. Turns out to be quite popular, so we missed an early call on that one. But we did get to enjoy the facing Plaza de la Reina, which was recently renovated into a 12,000 square meter fully pedestrianized plaza. There's little interactive sculptures, tended promenades, and lots of stores and restaurants all around. For me, a sign of a prosperous city are spaces like this. Money spent for beauty and pleasure, not just function. This city has a huge focus on livability. We could have stopped here and linger a while, but we needed to make sure our limited time was spent experiencing as much as we could. And that's the problem with ports. Never enough time. So we created this essential port guide PDF to help you save some time by giving you a bird's eye cheat sheet, a primer for each port we visit with a specially designed color-coded map. Bathrooms, ATMs, and essential landmarks, they're all there. And we also attached a curated Google Map list of attractions with walking directions from wherever you are. If you want to check that out, click on our link in the description or visit our store at portlowdown.com. Now, we still had time to squeeze in a museum, and we are culture vultures. This one was close by, the National Museum of Ceramics and Decorative Arts. Now, the word ceramics may not conjure up excitement, but stay with me here. It's not just ceramics, although these pieces surprised me. I mean, wow. But it's housed in a renovated 15th century palace of the Marquis de Dos Aguas. So it's actually palace splendor on steroids. And a surprisingly deep space, 3 stories, with English placards along the way. Count the special exhibits that rotate here, and their famous permanent displays, like these pimped out carriages, show-off vehicles of their time, and this restored 18th century kitchen, and you got a well-spent 2 hours. Plus, again, it's inexpensive, €3. Plus they have lots of categories for free admission. Great bathrooms too, of course, and lockers for a €1 coin, which you get back when you're finished. And this palace also features a lift to all floors and accessible bathrooms, though the ground floor is the easiest to navigate. Now we had one more stop, mission to find Paella. Paella means pan, and this lunch only, typically 1 to 4 p.m., rice dish has many variants. The most famous place, La Papica, a favorite with Hemingway, was booked solid, but we found a good plan B, Los Gómez Correos. English on the menu, but it has a solid local reputation. But before paella comes appetizers.
Grilled octopus, come with a sauce, secret sauce, potato, salad, as you could see, the fabulous mozzarella, mango, and this should be pepito, bell pepper. You got a tomato? Sweet, tastes almost like candy. Mozzarella, the cheese.
Okay.
This is their bell pepper. Looks like it's already peeled off the skin. Oh, very interesting. I think it's marinated with soy sauce or something like that. It's actually have a hint of Asian taste to it. So let's try the octopus. It's not chewy at all. Perfectly done. Perfectly charged. Thank you so much. First of all, it's a rice dish with all different trimmings. Is it cooked on a special skillet? So it's the sizes, and as you could see, this, by the way, is 2 people. You know that cooking paella takes a while. It's like about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, the Valencia paella use rabbit, chicken, snail, and all these different vegetables. See this? A little bit burn. See the caramelization? Ooh, this is where all the sauce is gonna be. You want this. Wow. If you're Asian like me, this is a very interesting rice texture. It is cooked. It feels slightly undercooked because it's crunchy. So it's kind of feel a little bit like a mix of fried rice and regular rice, which is interesting. But it has a lot of taste to it. And let's try the chicken. Chicken is great.
That's the smell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of force to pull out.
So they give you this toothpicks to help you with your snail. I like escargot better. The best part of paella is the rice.
Taking the cab back to port, we passed through terminal screening and bussed back to the ship. Standing in line and so on accounted for about 30 minutes FYI, so give yourself some time. We fell in love with Valencia, not just because it's beautiful and the food fabulous, although there is that.
This bread is divine.
But the city aims for high livability. You can see that on the streets. It's less rushed than Madrid, less crowded than Barcelona, but with a big city vibe that is at once sophisticated and relaxed. And next time we come, we have lots more to explore, of course. Now, if you got good value from this video, be sure to like and share with your shipmates. And as always, keep those comments and questions coming. We look forward to them and answer them as soon as we can. Happy travels, and we'll see you on the next cruise.